Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Healthy Living with Dr. Julissa.
Welcome back, Source Nation. Welcome back. You're listening live right here on Healthy Living with Dr. Julissa. Telephone number to reach us tonight is 619-924-0933. Again, 619-924-0933. Well, you guys know what time it is. That's right. Our naturopathic doctor, Dr. Julissa Hernandez, is going to be in the studio, and tonight is going to be another great conversation. I'm so excited to be speaking with her tonight. Tonight's conversation is going to be about impotence, BPH, and prostate health in regards to men's health. You know, this is so very important. And definitely, ladies, if you are listening tonight, one thing that I would love for you to do is if you have your significant other with you, or if not, you know, tune in, be able to call in and ask questions for Dr. Julissa. And then at the end of the segment, take a listen all over again with your significant other. But guess what? You know, Dr. Julissa is live on Facebook. That's right. She's live in the studio with us. And definitely, you can follow along and ask questions there. But, you know, I had an opportunity really to take a look at tonight's article prior to Dr. Julissa coming in. And I want to read something to you because I think that this is so very important. And I think that this is when we really need to sit down and talk with the men in our lives, share with them that their health needs are just as important as ours, ladies. You know, if something's going on with our bodies, we do not hesitate. We do not hesitate in going to our physicians. We don't hesitate in researching, definitely reaching out to Dr. Julissa. You know, she's here every single Thursday, but you can definitely reach out to her on a personal level as well. But in the article, it states, men face unique health challenges and need to pay particular attention to the prostate gland, especially with age. Scientific research suggests that several herbs can help support men's health, including saw palmetto, stinging nettle, and African plum tree. Man, these are some definitely natural herbs that Dr. Julissa is going to share with us. Not only that, be able to give us a greater insight when it comes to men's health and impotence. I think that this is so important. I do believe that Dr. Julissa is in the studio with us. Dr. Julissa, hello, and welcome to Healthy Living. How are you this evening?
I'm great, Kathy. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm excited to have you here in the studio with us. I know that we're going to have a wonderful conversation. But if you will, Dr. Julissa, before we dive into tonight's conversation, if you could introduce yourself to all of the new Source Nation family members that are joining us, and definitely all the ones that are joining us live on Facebook. Hello and welcome to Healthy Living. But if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
Well, thank you once again for having me, Kathy. Hello, Source Radio family. Hello, Facebook family. I'm Dr. Julissa Hernandez, naturopathic doctor, practicing now for over 20 years, celebrating 21 years in practice on May 1st of this year. I am an international speaker of natural medicine, a teacher of natural medicine as well, and also a television and radio personality, very well known as the resident naturopathic doctor of what once was the Michael Basin Show for 9 years on that platform, and now absolutely honored to be a part of Source Radio Network with Kathy B. Thank you so much for having me, Kathy.
You're welcome. Yes, we are very excited to have you here. Well, tonight's article is an amazing article. You know, Dr. Julissa, prior to you coming in, I was just sharing with the Source Nation family and everyone listening here on Healthy Living that it's so very important, especially with the men in our lives, our significant others, boyfriends, husbands, grandfathers, dads. It's so important to really be on top of their health, you know, as men. I hate to say it, sometimes they don't even listen to their own bodies. It's us women who are in tune with what's going on and asking them, when was the last time did you see a doctor? When was your last checkup? So
I agree.
This particular article really speaks to why it is so important for men really pay attention to what's going on with their bodies, especially if they are experiencing the areas of impotence. You know, we're going to speak tonight about BPH and prostate health. So I want to go ahead and jump into the article. I had the opportunity also to share with Source Nation just some different things that you placed in the article. For instance, you talked about implementing some form of different herbs into a man's health. You talked about saw palmetto, stinging nettle, and African plum tree. Talk to us about that, and why is that so important for them to incorporate those types of herbs into their diet and into their health regimen?
Well, it's important for men to understand that chemical drugs have already shown to not be the solution to correct sexual dysfunction problems, to correct impotence challenges, while research shows that herbal therapies do that function. And saw palmetto, for example, one of them, wonderful herbs that I love to use with my male patients, is one that absolutely works directly on strengthening the prostate and helping with inflammation of the prostate gland. Also, there are certain supplements and herbs that are known to block what is that rogue testosterone that half of men over 50 develop, which is the dihydrotestosterone, that then causes them to multiply cells and then subjectively then have inflammation of the prostate. So herbal therapy, those that I've placed there in my article, I've put the link here also on the live Facebook video stream so people can follow along, have already shown in constant research to be wonderful solutions to help them with that. And not only correcting and strengthening the prostate, but helping with testosterone levels, Kathy, but also helping them with sexual activity. And their bodies prove it themselves.
Now, Dr. Julissa, I want to go back to something that I just mentioned, and I want to clarify this because I really do, and I made the statement because I know that it's very true when it comes to women being in tune with their bodies, and they're very easy if something is going wrong or if they feel like something is happening, they will literally pick up the phone and make that appointment. Why do you think it's so hard for men to do just that? Make the appointment, go see a physician, and talk about the health needs. Can you share that with us?
I'll share with you what male patients have already shared with me, for example, in my consultations. And many times it's because the wife has brought them, but because they also urged the issue. I feel that the majority of men don't want to be told that they have a challenge of the reproductive system, obviously, just like no one would ever want to be told that they have a health challenge. Let's just be real about that. But it's very ego-like, and not in a negative way. Please let me make that statement. Ego-wise, we all must have some bit of ego, unfortunately, because we are human. However, that bit there of just not wanting to know that there's a challenge there will most definitely deter a man from taking action and looking into it, to admit that they're not functioning in the correct manner, that they're not functioning sexually is not something that any man wants to hear. Let's be real about that. Women were more open to that, but we're also more emotional creatures. Men are not as talkative. Women are more talkative, but that's just because of the way our makeups are. There is a difference between women and men. There just is. But that's what I've heard in my office, consultations with patients and so on, that's what really deters them from that. To be told is just something no man obviously wants to hear. But they're getting younger and younger, Kathy. They're getting younger and younger. And for a 35-year-old to have come in my office many years back having prostate enlargement challenges, let me just say, diet, guys. Diet, guys, is so important when it comes to that. So that's just one aspect.
Yes, I can tell you, when I was married, my ex-husband and I, my husband at the time, his father had prostate, and I remember him saying, I think I will probably go get myself checked, but I'm too young. And I told him, I said, if this is something that has occurred in your family and several men have had it in your family, it's good for you to go get it checked. Do not wait. And I remember right after we divorced, I think it was probably in our second year, he called me and he said to me, he says, Kathy, he says, I think something is wrong. And I got so scared. And I said, well, what do you think? He said, I'm going to go to the doctor. He says, I think I felt something. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and go. And that was the first thing that crossed my mind, because 3 years prior, he talked about it when his father was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So with that being said, it took him 3 years to really do what he had to do. He felt something, and that's when he went to the doctor, and thank God it was nothing very serious. But the fact that that's when he pretty much said, okay, I'm going to have to go to the doctor. I'm going to have to get regular checkups, because this runs in my family, and I don't want to be the next person to discover that I have it as well. So with that being said, I think as women, we do need to encourage the men in our lives that their health is just as serious as ours. You know, I want to talk about your next paragraph in the conversation here. You talked about the general topic of men's health is quite broad and can include issues that are part of women's health as well. For example, you talked about the cardiovascular health and weight loss, as well as sexual well-being. Talk to us about prostate health and why it's so important for us to understand it. Not only that, how can you have a healthy prostate?
Hormonal balance is key. And again, and being able to cope with stress is better, but most definitely diet. I did touch upon that this week as well on certain substances and foods, for example, that a man intakes that will affect that. But testosterone levels should be higher, most definitely, than female hormones. And the problem is also a presence of estrogen dominance in many men that present prostate challenges. And again, diet. We're wanting you gentlemen to really curb a lot of those foods that are inundated with GMOs, that are inundated with high hormone levels. Red meat, for example, is the first thing that I remove from a man's diet. When he comes to me with alcohol, Kathy, my gosh, I can't tell you how, I get it, guys. I get it, how, you just feel that elegant look, that manliness when you're having that glass of, beer and also having that cigar or whatever it may be. Now, keep in mind, you may not be feeling the challenges now, but that will catch up with you. And Kathy, the issue of maintaining that prostate healthy is, again, as I said, the hormonal balance and correcting the excess of that rogue testosterone, that dihydrotestosterone that tends to come about when they ingest certain things like beer. Gentlemen, beer has shown very much, as alcohol in general is shown to be very detrimental to prostate health. But beer, for example, has shown to be even worse in studies, that it increases the dihydrotestosterone, decreases testosterone levels, and increases female hormones in men. And that's not something that they want. Believe me, it's not something that you want, gentlemen. You'll start experiencing the problems of the prostate challenges with the inflammation, which will cause pain in the pelvic area. You have the constant urination at night, for example, or daytime also, or the dribble effect. The dribble effect being that when a man is urinating and patient, that he wants to keep going and constantly keep urinating, but really only drops towards the end of the urination process of coming out. And it's almost as if they never really finish. So all those discomforts, apart from poor erections, let's go there. We're talking about impotence too, Kathy. And for a man to be told he's impotent, that's another reason why they shy away from going to their doctors. The diet, if I may elaborate on that very quickly, also another one of the reasons why you want to reduce fatty foods, fried foods in the diet, gentlemen, is because Atherosclerosis is known as the primary cause of impotence. What's atherosclerosis? It's a hardening of the arteries that impedes blood flow to the penile artery. Poor erections. That's what an erection is. Extreme blood flow to the genital region. So if you're not having that good flow, you're not going to experience the strong erections that you desire.
Wow, good information. We actually just had a question come in, Dr. Julissa, and I want to answer that if we can. It says, my husband's been unable to have an erection for about 3 months now. He is a heavy beer drinker and thinks that it does not contribute to any way and will not allow me to approach that subject. What can I do?
Forgive me, but as you know, Kathy, I'm blunt and I'm very direct, and you cannot force anyone to want to be well. They must decide to be well. And unfortunately, there's a saying in my country, no one is a prophet in their own land. Sometimes the wife pushing the issue won't necessarily do it. If she wants to take advantage of, for example, sharing the information that we're sharing here today, she'll be able to share, for example, this video with her husband. If she wants to share articles and the research that shows how alcohol tends to affect erections, then maybe that'll do it, just a third party sharing of information there. Because unfortunately, again, he may be difficult in wanting to listen to her. My opinion is such. But what can I tell you? For the woman to show the frustration, she's able to be, let's say, intimately active. She's able to express herself sexually in a very good manner. And then for him not to be able to respond, that in itself should be a worry for the partner. If you truly care for your partner, you will do everything in your power to be well for you that you love. That's my take on that. We have to practice that virtue of what I call selfishness, a virtue of selfishness, to care for oneself so that we can be here for those when they truly need us. And that's my take on that. What would you say, Kathy?
You know what? And great question that was sent in. My thing is that, you have to love them. I remember, just as I shared with you, when my husband at the time shared with me that his father was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he felt as though he will get checked, but it took him, 3 years later to do that. And I just think that we have to encourage them. Definitely that keeping up with their health is very important. I know sometimes it may seem as though we may come over as being nagging ladies, but that is the way that we love. And I think that if I'm so serious, because even when he and I were divorced and he told me that he was going to make an appointment because he felt something, I was very concerned because I still love him. Still to this day, it'll be 7 years in August. I still love that man. And if anything happens to him, I think my world will go crazy. But it's very important that we have those types of conversations. When she mentioned that he was unable to have an erection for about 3 months, I think that causes some concern, especially if they were once active, and nothing was wrong prior to what happened, prior to that 3 months. So, yeah, those conversations need to take place. And I think that as wives, as girlfriends, we have to be understanding, we have to be patient, but yet encouraging too. So I know that was a long-winded answer.
No, and it's real, because that's what I love about this show that you and I do, that you share your experiences. Everyone gets to participate in sharing, sending questions in as well. But you're real in what you share with us, and it's important for us to give those stories out, because that's what people relate to. And I agree. Now, I'm not one to baby anyone. If you decide that you want to eat those 3 pieces of steak right there, and you have that problem, go right ahead. I can't push you not to love yourself. It's just something that your soul has to finally come to that realization for a love of self, to take care of yourself. And if you know that there are issues going on, take care. And if you know there are also alternatives out there, my recommendation is to definitely look for those alternatives as well to achieve that optimum health that they deserve. That's my take. I don't baby anyone.
Yeah, and you know what? I think, as the weeks go by and we continue to talk, I think it's very important that we do continue to educate on diet. As many conversations that we've had, Dr. Julissa, I am now realizing how important that is. There are things that when it comes to health that you have to eliminate from the diet, just as you said, the red meat, the alcohol, and of course, one of my favorite wine when we talk about women's health.
Well, I would say, going off on this tangent, I would say wine, something that ladies that have constant yeast infections want to stay away from, suffer from migraines, especially those that tend to creep in during their menstrual period and are experiencing also issues of estrogen dominant cells. Yeah, let's curb that. Yeah, Kathy, yeah. Yeah, Source Nation, I tell it on myself every single week with Dr. Julissa. I'm like, oh, man, I can't have that anymore. But that's okay. That's okay. We have another question that's come in. It says, this is from my Facebook family. Can having prostate problems be painful? My cousin's husband has pain when he urinates and when he goes. It is very little. So talk to us about that. Having prostate problems. Inflammation in itself will cause pain. That's a definite. So, yes, many men experience pain during urination because sometimes it's very difficult for them to begin a good urine stream when they're having issues of an inflamed prostate. So my heart goes out to him because I've had patients come in where the agony, you can see it. I can feel. I'm very sensitive to people's energy. I can feel that true discomfort that they go through. I can sense that. And yes, it is very painful. So most definitely, inflammation of the prostate can definitely cause pain. So yes, and again, please go to the link, the article that I've placed here that Kathy is also going to be sharing, so that you can see the solutions that I've used with many patients over the years, so you can help resolve and overcome those challenges.
Great information. Going back to the article, Dr. Julissa, I want to talk about erectile dysfunction and how does this play a role in men's health. What are your thoughts about erectile dysfunction?
Well, what we stated before, impotence now is something that is coming about in men as younger and younger. We're looking at even as young as the ages of their 30, experiencing that. But again, that primary cause of the atherosclerosis, diet, good sexual function, my opinion, truly begins in the dining room, taking advantage of having a better diet, so that you can maintain good blood flow throughout the body. And you want good blood flow to the extremities, head, hands, feet, genital region. Atherosclerosis, the arteries tend to harden, which then impedes that good blood supply to, again, the penile artery. So erectile dysfunction is just that problem of not being able to have an erection or have poor, or they experience poor erections. And blood flow is my main focus when I'm helping the patient with that. I say, give me 2 weeks and you'll love me. I told the wife, 2 weeks, you'll love me. Because you want, yes, because you want to douse the body with anything that's going to really make the wall of those arteries nice and supple to correct that hardening and then produce a lot of that good blood flow. No. Please know that chemical drugs are not going to do it, guys. Those chemical drugs are then going to bombard the liver, and the liver is the filter of fat, the filter of blood, filter of hormones. Remember that the issue here most of the time is also hormonal imbalance, too much rogue testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, too many female hormones, the last thing you want to do is bombard the liver. So chemical drugs are not going to do it. What also much of the chemical drugs show is like blood. Oh, let me tell you this, Kathy. Let's talk about this for 1 second. Antidepressant drugs cause erectile blood pressure medication also causes those types of problems. So, yes, most definitely, these are issues that need to be taken care of. The issue of the high blood pressure medications, bringing on things like the hydrocortisone, all those types of meds, most definitely cause those types of issues. And it's important for men to consider you want to do everything in your power to get your health to optimum level to prevent these types of challenges.
Yes, love it. Now, I understand, just as you said, there are over-the-counter drugs that doctors have prescribed to men when it comes to impotence. Of course, the one thing that you think of is Viagra. But I know that, within this conversation, you mentioned that there were some natural herbs that they could take. Other than what you have mentioned, is this something that they could actually take on a daily basis to assist them, or how often should they incorporate the natural herbs?
I recommend always, I'm going back live with everyone here. Okay. I truly recommend, I recommend most definitely for someone to always use, when you're utilizing a new herbal program, always utilize it for minimum 90 days. That's my recommendation. The cells of the body tend to regenerate every 90 days, and so it's crucial for you to give your body that time for the cells to change, for the cells to become stronger, for the cells to become less permeable. So I always recommend that so they can really, truly overcome the challenge. There is a slight rule of thumb when it comes to natural medicine, Kathy. And the rule of thumb in naturopathy, the way we're taught, is 1 month of natural remedy herbal therapy programs to 1 year of that they've had the problem. So let's say the man has been having issues for 5 years of prostate problems, of erectile problems, of sexual dysfunction. Then most definitely what's recommended is that a man do it for at least 5 months. I know for a fact, though, that because I use such concentrated, high-quality supplements, I see, obviously, the results much quicker. I always say, give me 2 weeks for you to start seeing changes. That's my statement every time, and my patients who are online right now can tell you that. My clients who are online right now from my Facebook family can tell you that. Give me 2 weeks for your body to show you those changes. But every time you incorporate a natural herbal therapy program, I do recommend that they give their body that time to finally overcome it. You know what happens, Kathy, is, I'm going to tell you. You ready?
Okay.
This is what happens much of the time. Ladies, not so much. Again, I don't like to make that differentiation, but I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've just seen the pattern. So let's say a gentleman will start a therapy program that I recommend. As soon as they start feeling better, they stop. They stop. And then the symptoms are gone and so on. But the thing is, I want to help your body to overcome the problem completely. I want to help your body to correct that challenge that they came to me in the first place with. So do it for the amount of time that I am recommending, minimum 30 to 90 days, at least 90 days, to make sure that your cells have done that turnaround, that they've overcome this issue. So I know that you're going to feel the changes and you're going to feel much better, much quicker than you would think, but give your body that time to overcome it. Do so, repeat, and continue for that amount of time.
Good information. We actually have a question from our Facebook Live, straight from the video. They asked, is sea moss good for this? They say it's good for the bones. What are your thoughts about that, Dr. Julissa? Is sea moss good for impotence?
Is what good for it? Say that again.
sea moss. Sea moss.
Sea moss?
Mm-hmm.
I've not used that with my patients, so I cannot comment on that. I know that I've used definitely used things like the Korean ginseng instead of Siberian ginseng, eleuthero I use for women, Korean ginseng I use cordyceps. Oh, I've written an article very much on that, which is a Chinese fungus that is absolutely awesome for men, for sexual vitality. And what that generally does is that it helps a man to be able to recover quicker from, for example, their first ejaculation, and they're able to achieve an additional erection quicker to be able to perform again. I love that fungus. It works wonders with my patients. Women can use it as well. I love to use things like maca and so on, and definitely click the links that I placed there in my article so that you can get more information on how to obtain these types of supplements that I've proven for 20 years have really helped my patients out and just definitely bring a man back to good testosterone levels and healthy prostate glands.
Good information. You know, Dr. Julissa, as we are wrapping up tonight's conversation in regards to impotence, BPH, prostate health, if you will, you know, I always like to leave with some form of encouragement word or maybe tips and advice that we have not shared in tonight's conversation. If you will, please, if you'd like to contribute, that would be great.
Okay, great. Gentlemen, as far as diet, let me talk about the good things that you should be incorporating first to really help the strength of your prostate out. And you'll want to incorporate definitely dark green vegetables that are going to produce good blood flow. So when you're in the vegetable market shopping, notice that all dark green vegetables, first of all, things like broccoli, spinach, kale, and so on, are wonderful to incorporate. One, they're very good for the liver. The liver starts filtering hormones better. You start to filter a lot of that excess estrogen that tends to cause prostate inflammation. So bring things like that in. And if you are not a vegetarian and you do ingest animal meat, eliminate pork and beef and bring in, if you are eating animal meat, you can bring in zinc-rich foods like seafoods and so on because they do help with prostate health. And I would hope that all that information has helped all you guys out tonight, Kathy. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dr. Julissa, for being here. And before we let you go, share with Sports Nation and everyone listening here on Healthy Living how we can get more information about you and continue to support you and your efforts.
Well, you can find all my information at drjulissa.com. That's drjulissa.com. Search there the topics that you desire to know more about. I've written many articles to be able to help you to achieve better health. You guys are here with me on Facebook, but I'm also on Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, so follow me there. I love to share new information and videos with you regarding health on a constant basis, articles, images, events, and thank you. That's wonderful to be here again with you again, Kathy. I look forward to next week. What shall we discuss then?
You know, I'm not sure. We got some things that have come across the desk not too long ago, so we're going to go through them just to make sure that we can discuss them. If we haven't discussed them before, that would be great too, but we'll definitely get back to you, Dr. Julissa, on that one.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. Have an amazing night.
You too. Bye-bye.
You too, Facebook family. Take care.
Well, Source Nation, you heard it right there from our naturopathic doctor, Dr. Julissa Hernandez. Tonight's conversation was a great conversation. I love the fact that she has given us information in regards to impotence, BPH, and prostate health. This conversation was all about the men. Yes, the men that are in our lives. Definitely we want to make sure that they understand that we care about them and their health is very important. Definitely take this article and give it to them. Have them read it at their leisure. If not, have them go back out to Facebook because this conversation was live on Facebook. I'm excited about that. I love that new feature that Dr. Julissa has added and the fact that you guys can interact with her as she's here on the radio with us. So I love that. So definitely tune in every single Thursday right here on Healthy Living, where Dr. Julissa is here live and giving us great information when it comes to holistic health. Again, tonight's conversation was Impotence, BPH, and Prostate Health. You can find that information at drjulissa.com. Again, drjulissa.com. And she also has a Healthy Living page right out there on Facebook under the Source Network banner. You can go there, and her information is there as well. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Again, it's been great. I'm your host, Happy D. I will definitely see you guys again. You all be blessed. I'll see you then. Have a great night.